The Afternoon Drive with Aaron Delatorre.
Your hometown station.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
He's a man on fire. He's Rich Szerman of Alta Realty, the Robin Hood of our hood.
Okay.
He's the #1 realtor in the SUV looking out for you, the advocate of the little man, the voice of the voiceless.
Yes, the patron saint of the great unwashed. That's me.
Rich, how are you today?
I'm doing great.
You saved a couple houses today. You told me off air.
I ran in a little. I'm sorry, I'm a few minutes late here. I had a couple that we were working on, and I wanted to get them done before I got out the door for this, so we got it done. Good stuff. So we know we got their houses saved, which I'm really proud of. So
awesome.
That's really good.
So before we go in on the latest immoralities of local financial institutions, I want to start off on a related yet positive note because there are some awesome programs that you and the Alta team offer.
Yeah.
I want to get the word out on them. A brief overview, if you will.
Sure.
So let's start with the resale renovation program.
We got to come up with better names. There are three that we have. While the resale renovation program is for sellers, what we do with the resale renovation program is if you want to sell your house and use us to do it, we'll come in and we'll spend some money on your house fixing it up. It's a very simple calculus. Houses in the best condition sell for the most amount of money the quickest. Realtors work on commission. The more your house sells for, the more money we make. So it's actually kind of self-serving. But what we used to be able to do, we still do, is we'll come in and we'll just give you don't pay it back, we give you 1% of the projected sales price, resale price of the house, and we use that money to fix up the house. Carpet, paint, landscaping, whatever needs to be done. And we've seen that make a huge difference. We had one about 6 months ago where we spent about $6,000 on the house. And the house sold for a little more than $60,000 more than it was originally appraised for. So that worked out great. And those are the kind of results we like to see. A 10-to-1 ratio is really good. But we've done a couple as pilot programs recently. And this is what I'm here to announce this today. I'm pretty proud of this. Where we've gone a little deeper than that. Where we've spent a lot more money on the properties. We've turned complete derelicts that were just a disaster into really nice houses. And we call favors in from contractors and stuff that we know, and they do a lot of stuff at cost for us, which is very nice. But the end result is the sellers get a lot more out of the house. I'll give you a really good example. This is going on right now. There's a house over on Robin in Saugus, and it needed a lot of cosmetic work. I mean, a lot. Structurally was fine, windows, air, plumbing, all that good stuff, fine. But it needed a lot of cosmetic work, a lot of work, to the tune of about $60,000-$70,000.
Oh, wow.
Well, in its current state, the best we could get for that house was $320,000 because it was so destroyed that we could only get investor offers. Nobody could get a loan, et cetera, et cetera. It's going to limit your market. We got them an offer at $320,000, which was not very good because the house should be selling for about $500,000. Their plan was to just sell it to an investor, let the investor fix it up and resell it and take a profit. I stepped into that and thought, well, what if we cut the investor out of it and we fix up the house and then you just sell the house and you'll make a lot more money, and this is money they need to retire. This is the last house they're going to have. So every dime is precious. Every penny's precious. So they thought about it when they realized what I was willing to do. They said, sure, you bet, because I essentially loan them the money for nothing. They pay no money, nothing in interest, nothing else like that. We go in and fix up the house. We spend a tremendous amount of money on this one.
What'd you guys do to the house?
Everything. We redid the kitchen. We redid the bathrooms. We did everything. There were no structural components, but we redid pretty much everything. And now it's shiny and nice and wonderful. And so now we have a really good shot. It's not quite done yet, but we have a really good shot at getting $500,000 out of it.
Wow.
Which is
up from
a lot
$320,000.
more. Yeah. So they're going to make an extra $200,000 on this house, give or take, a little less than that. And that's going to help power their retirement quite a bit. And we just stepped into that. And so it worked out really, really well for them. Now, every situation is different, and we need to see some sort of a return on the money when we loan it. But rather than doing it with payments and interest rate and that sort of stuff, we just put it into the house, and we say, okay, whatever the percentages are, we'll get a percentage of the addition in costs. In other words, their money up to $320,000 is their money up to $320,000. Nothing changes as far as that's concerned because they could have done that without us. But the increase, the roughly $180,000 increase we hope to see on this house or thereabouts, we'll get a percentage of that. It's a fairly smart, but we get a percentage of that. So for them, it's a win no matter what because they were only going to get $320,000 before, and now they're going to get $500,000, and so it's just money in their pocket. And for us, it's fun because it's we get to rebuild a house and get to put it back together. It makes it easier to sell, so it's better for everybody.
I feel like this is a reality show waiting to happen, Rich.
Send me a producer. They're welcome to come down and watch if they want, but we're doing it to help the consumer. We're doing it to help the sellers. But
yeah. So this is the expanded resale renovation program.
Yeah, we got to come up with a name. So if your listeners have a good name, let us know.
Yeah, we'll workshop it.
We'll workshop that.
Yeah.
But basically, we're in a position now where we can come into a house that's a total derelict and completely rebuild the thing from stem to stern and get it resold for you. As long as the numbers make sense, we're good to go.
So what upgrades, what projects do you find that yield the greatest return?
A lot of simple stuff, really. It's cosmetic stuff. Carpet, paint, obviously. Those are easy and fairly inexpensive. But in this case, the kitchen cabinets, appliances, carpet paint. There was a jacuzzi tub that we had to rebuild, which was fun. Actually rebuilt the motor on my workbench, but got that put back together. A lot of fixtures, things like that. But those can become very pricey very quickly. I mean, just painting the entire inside and outside of the house was about an $8,000 task. It makes the house look a lot better, and they certainly didn't have the $8,000 to do it.
Yeah.
But we spent almost $10,000 just junking the house out, just getting we had 5 different massive dumpsters at one time or another out in front of this house that we filled to capacity. Just
Yikes.
getting stuff out of there. So you can imagine how bad it was. But we got it all cleared out. Then we went in. Once you cleared all the stuff out, we went in and demolished all of the cabinets and stuff we needed to remove that were of no longer of any use.
Are you actually involved in this?
Oh yeah. Well, demo's fun. Of course I'm
Yeah,
involved
yeah,
with that. Demo's sledgehammering a good time. You bet. Actually, with demo, I work with the contractors I work with. It's like, okay, Rich, you're allowed in this area. You're not allowed in the rest of the house because we need to save some of the stuff. I have no trouble breaking things. Putting them back together is a little harder. I leave that to the professionals with licenses. But so now we got the house just about put back together. It's not quite done yet, but we're putting it all back together. And as soon as it's done, and again, I want to reiterate, because I want to get in trouble with the city, none of this was structural. None of it was mechanical. There were no permits necessary. We didn't even redo a patio cover. We fixed the patio cover that was there. We took out all the termite-infested wood. Well, it wasn't termite, but all the rotted out wood, and we repainted it and put it back together. So that was all done, but we didn't even need to replace the patio. I don't want to get the city excited about permits.
Right.
We're careful. We're very careful. We do not want to run afoul of the city. The city asks for permits for a good reason. We want to make sure that we're within those guidelines.
Of course, we're doing everything by the book. So
absolutely.
That is the expanded resale renovation program.
Yeah.
You guys also offer a rental rebate program.
Yeah, the rental rebate program with that, that's for buyers. If you're renting a property, and we all know that rents in the Santa Clarita Valley are sky high.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I can't even rent out here.
Yeah, they've also gone up quite a bit. We'll talk when you're done. But when you're off air. But they've gone up ridiculously in the last couple of years, especially. It really is insane. I mean, it's good if you're a landlord, but it's horrible if you're a renter. And if you have an audience out there that are renters, they're listening to this, they know what I'm talking about. They've all seen their rents go up 10 to 20%, if not more, which is insane. Mm-hmm. But we do because we think everyone should own a house, and it's not that hard to do. So what we do is we step in and we say, okay, if you're renting a house, we will give you, or an apartment or anything else, we will give you 10% of the rent you've already paid back. We give it to you. It's a grant. You do not pay it back. We will give you 10% of the rent you've paid back to go buy a house. So it makes it a lot easier for people to buy houses. And it's just a math thing. It's not that hard. We give away a lot of money in a lot of different things. The rental rebate program, the resale renovation program, it's all really the same sort of idea. We will use our money to help achieve our clients' goals because in doing so, we achieve our own. Mm-hmm. The business model of the more you give, the more you get isn't revolutionary. It just seems that way because so few people operate that way these days. But it's really not all that hard. I don't see any other realtors or real estate companies doing this sort of thing. They certainly could. We'd love to have the help. Yeah. We can't help everybody. But for us, it's a fairly simple thing. We will spend our money to help our clients achieve their goals because in doing so, we achieve our own. The more you give, the more you get. It's not hard.
And let's just round this out with the free loan modification.
The third leg of our stool. We do foreclosure defense, and we do it for free. We have for many, many years. That's usually what I'm on here talking about. I'm happy to have the opportunity at any time to talk about it.
Of course.
But we go to bat with banks. We go to war with banks on a regular basis. We save people's houses. It's probably what we're most known for. We're very, very good at it. And again, it's completely free. So if you have a house that you're behind in your payments or you're staring down the barrel at a foreclosure, don't just give up and roll over. You have more options than you think you do. One of the ones I was sorry getting here today. He's a very nice guy. He had a brother get hit by a car, and in caring for his brother, adult brother, and caring for him, it wiped out his savings and put a serious dent in his equity in his house. And now he's in a position where he's liable to lose his house. He had no idea that a modification was even possible. And he has good income and good everything else. He'll be fine. He'll get a mod. He'll get a mod pretty easily, actually. But he didn't even know that was a possibility until we talked yesterday.
Wow.
So he's also only about 3 weeks away from a foreclosure, so we had to get him in quick.
Oh, yikes.
That's why I was late today. But we got it sorted. We got the paperwork underway, and I have every confidence we'll be able to save his house. I don't even think he'll have to do a bankruptcy or any of that kind of stuff. We should be able to just save it with a straight-up loan mod in one shot.
You kind of scoffed when I said the voice of the voiceless. But truly, I mean, you're out here looking out for people's best interest.
I'll take the compliment. Thank you.
Have you ever been nominated or won the SCV Man of the Year?
No.
What? Never even a nomination?
I don't know much about it. I spend my time, I mean, no offense to the people who do stuff within the community. I think it's great. I'm not going to parties. I'm not going to
you know what, Rich?
Ceremonies.
I'm going to start campaigning for you.
I'll take the help anywhere I can get it.
Of course.
But my job is to do my job for my clients.
Right.
And that takes up all of my time. And as much as I enjoy being on the radio and that kind of stuff, I enjoy any press we get from this sort of thing. But I enjoy it not because it's for me. I enjoy it because I use it for my clients. When I go to a bank, like I did today, and I said, hey, I'm going on the radio in half an hour. You want me to talk about this or not? They would prefer I don't.
Yeah.
Because they know what they're doing is wrong. They know it's immoral and unethical. It's legal, but it's immoral and it's unethical, and they know that. Taking a house away from somebody because they've got a ton of equity, because they've lived there for 20 years, and because they've done everything right, and they didn't know to reach out and ask for a loan modification, and the bank wasn't sharing that information with them, by the way, because the bank told them you have no choice.
Oh, of course not.
Because the bank sees this as a $200,000 payday. They don't seem to get it. Oh, I shouldn't say that. They do get it. The client doesn't. But helping somebody out like that is not something I think that really, if you want to say it's laudable, I'll take it, but it really isn't. I just know what I'm doing, and I know how to fix this. And it doesn't cost me anything. It costs me a couple of hours of my time, maybe 20 or 30 hours of my time, my staff's time to fix this. But this guy gets to retain his house. His family gets to keep living there. His brother, who he's still caring for, gets to stay there. I think that's better. And, not everything you do in life needs to be measured in dollars and cents. I realize in real estate that's not a very popular ethos, but it is. I realize I can make a lot more money doing something else, but this is how I choose to do what I do. I've been very lucky. I've been very blessed in my real estate career. I've done very well, and this is how I choose to spend my money. I don't need I don't need a yacht to water ski behind. It doesn't interest me. I don't need 40 different rental properties. That's just not where my head is at. I'm fine. My kids are fine. My wife is fine. I have the ability to do this. It seems immoral not to, honestly, from where I sit. So you do these things because they have to be done, not because there's an award at the end of it or because you're going to get something out of it. It's just because it has to be done. I blame my grandmother. I don't have the ability to walk past a house on fire and just keep stepping. I have to do something. I'm compelled that way. My brain just works that way. I have no choice. I really don't. Now, to extend the metaphor, if the fire department shows up, I'll be happy to get the hell out of the way. You find somebody more qualified who can do a better job, I will happily step aside.
Right.
But so far on these issues, I'm it. And I've been it for nearly 30 years. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous that there is really no agency, no federal agency and no state agency that really champions these causes. And I get it. There's no real appetite for it. And the idea is if there's a mortgage crisis, we might all notice. But there are always 3 to 5% in any community in California. 3 to 5% of those properties are in foreclosure. In Santa Clarita, that number's higher because it's a high income, high expense neighborhood. Suburbia is what it is. Same in Simi Valley and a lot of other places. But when you have the ability to help somebody and it lands on your desk, I think you have a responsibility to just do that. And it's not about money. It's not about what you can get out of it, whether it's money or limited fame or whatever else it is. It's because it needs to get done. That's just it. And that's as far as my thinking really goes. When the house is on fire, we need to put the fire out or nobody has a place to live. And if your house is on fire, that may be bad for me because my house may be on fire next. So it's just sort of something you do if you're part of a community. If you have an ability to do something, you do it.
To find out about all of these 3 programs and to finding the right
real estate, honestly.
finding the right home is hard. Let Rich and the Alta Realty team help you out there. Go to richsherman.com. That's Sherman, SZERMAN, richsherman.com.
Should be spelled.
Yeah, the way it should be, the way it's rightfully spelled.
My grandfather told me that's the way we spell it, and that's the way we do it.
Rich, thanks so much for coming in.